Have you ever stood in front of your closet feeling frustrated because your favorite shirt has those tiny buttons that your fingers just can't manage anymore? Or maybe you've given up wearing that perfect pair of jeans because the zipper has become your daily nemesis. I get it. I'm Jennifer, and 7 years ago, rheumatoid arthritis transformed my morning routine from a simple 10 minutes to an exhausting hour-long battle with my own clothes. The day I burst into tears because I couldn't fasten my bra was the day I realized something had to change. Not my body, my approach to fashion. Today, I'm sharing everything I've learned as an adaptive fashion consultant who's helped hundreds of people rediscover the joy of getting dressed independently without sacrificing their personal style. When I first started experiencing morning stiffness in my hands, I had no idea how much it would affect something as basic as getting dressed. And I'm not alone. About 54 million Americans live with arthritis. Then there are those with Parkinson's, recovering from stroke, dealing with temporary injuries, or simply facing the natural changes that come with aging. The problem isn't us, it's that most clothing is designed without considering how our bodies actually work and change throughout life. Those small buttons that require fine motor skills, back zippers that demand shoulder mobility, tight necklines that require raising arms overhead. These are design oversights, not personal failures. I remember talking with Clara, an 82-year-old former ballet teacher who told me, "I've spent my whole life being independent. I refuse to have someone dress me like a child just because designers don't think about my needs." Her words stuck with me because they capture exactly what adaptive fashion is about: preserving dignity and independence through thoughtful design. The fashion industry is slowly waking up to this reality. The adaptive clothing market is projected to reach $400 billion globally by 2026. But you don't need to wait for the industry to catch up. There are solutions available right now that can transform your dressing experience. Let's talk about buttons, those small circular obstacles that can turn getting dressed into a frustrating challenge. When my morning stiffness was at its worst, I discovered button hooks. They're these simple tools that look like a crochet hook with a handle. You slide the hook through the buttonhole, catch the button, and pull it through. What used to take me minutes of painful manipulation now takes seconds. They come in various handle sizes and grips. The ergonomic ones with thick cushioned handles have been a game changer for many of my clients with arthritis. But what if you don't want to use tools? That's where magnetic buttons come in. These clever inventions look like regular buttons from the outside, but connect with hidden magnets. They provide the aesthetic of buttons without the struggle. Brands like Magneretti and others have created entire lines of shirts with this technology. Then there's the button conversion option. One of my favorite tips is taking your existing button-down shirts to a tailor and having them replace the buttons with sew-on snaps while keeping the original buttons attached to the front for appearance. It costs about $15.20 per shirt, but transforms your existing wardrobe into adaptive clothing. I'll never forget working with Robert, a corporate attorney who was diagnosed with Parkinson's. He told me, "I've worn a button-down shirt every workday for 30 years." I wasn't ready to give that up. We converted his entire collection of dress shirts to magnetic closures, and the relief on his face when he could dress for work independently. Again. That moment is why I do this work. Zippers present their own unique challenges. They require coordination, grip strength, and often the ability to reach behind your back. The first solution is zipper pulls. These simple attachments create a larger grip that's easier to hold. You can find them as rings, tabs, or even decorative charms that clip onto existing zipper pulls. For someone with arthritis or limited dexterity, this small addition can make zipping a jacket possible again. Another option is switching to front closure garments. This might seem obvious, but it's remarkable how many clothes, especially women's clothes, place closures in hard-to-reach places. Front-closing bras, for instance, eliminate the need for shoulder mobility and contortion that traditional back closure designs require. For pants and skirts, elastic waistbands have come a long way from the stereotypical grandma pants. Today's adaptive fashion includes stylish elastic waist trousers that look identical to traditional zip-fly designs from the outside. Brands like Tommy Hilfiger Adaptive and 7/7 Adaptive have created jeans with the appearance of button flies, but with hidden magnetic or elastic closures. I worked with a young woman named Aisha, who had a spinal cord injury. She loved fashion, but hated having to ask for help with zippers. We found her a beautiful leather jacket with a two-way zipper that she could manage independently. She texted me a selfie the first time she wore it out, writing, "Wore my new jacket to dinner. Zipped and unzipped it myself 3 times to show off." These small victories aren't small at all. They're life-changing moments of reclaimed independence. Hook and eye closures, those tiny metal fasteners often found at the top of zippers or on bras, require precision and fine motor control that can be challenging for many people. One effective solution is to replace them with small pieces of Velcro. This modification is simple enough that you can do it yourself or ask a tailor. The Velcro provides secure closure without requiring the precise alignment and finger strength of traditional hooks. For bras specifically, front closure styles eliminate the need for reaching behind your back. But there are also innovative options like Velcro closure bras, magnetic closure bras, and even bras designed to be stepped into and pulled up without any closures at all. I remember working with Margaret, who had severe arthritis in her hands. She had been wearing the same 3 bras for years because she could still manage their hooks with effort. When I introduced her to magnetic closure bras, she actually cried and said, "I never thought something as simple as a bra could make me feel so defeated every morning." And now that feeling is gone, shoes present their own set of challenges. Bending down, managing laces, and pulling on tight footwear can be difficult for many reasons. Adaptive footwear has evolved far beyond basic Velcro closure shoes. There are now shoes with zipper closures that wrap around the side, allowing the shoe to open wide for easy foot insertion. Brands like Billy Footwear have created stylish sneakers and boots with zippers that wrap around the toe, so the whole top of the shoe lifts up. For those who prefer the look of laced shoes, elastic laces convert any lace-up shoe into a slip-on. Once installed, they maintain the appearance of traditional laces, but eliminate the need to tie and untie them. Long-handled shoe horns are another simple tool that reduces the need to bend. And sock aids, while they look a bit strange, can make putting on socks possible for those with limited mobility in their lower body. I worked with Carlos, who had a hip replacement and struggled with putting on his shoes during recovery. He was a business executive who took pride in his polished appearance. We found him dress shoes with hidden side zippers that looked completely conventional, but eliminated his struggle. "It's the little things," he told me, "that make you feel normal again." Layering clothes can be particularly challenging for people with limited range of motion or strength issues. One solution is front-opening layers. Cardigans instead of pullovers, button-up vests instead of pullover ones. These alternatives provide the same layered look without requiring you to raise your arms overhead or engage in the pullover struggle. For those who prefer the look of traditional sweaters and t-shirts, there are adaptive versions with expanded necklines or side openings that make them easier to put on and take off. Some brands have created tops with hidden zippers along the shoulders or sides that allow the garment to open completely for dressing. Shawls and ponchos are naturally adaptive options that provide warmth without fitted sleeves. Modern designs have transformed these options from frumpy to fashionable. I worked with Alina, a teacher with limited shoulder mobility following a car accident. She loved her professional wardrobe, but couldn't raise her arms to put on her blouses. We found her several side-opening tops that maintained her polished look, but eliminated the overhead motion. She told me later that her students never noticed the difference in her clothing, but she noticed the difference in her independence every single day. Beyond modifying clothing itself, there are tools designed specifically to assist with dressing. Dressing sticks, long rods with hooks at the end, help pull up pants or adjust clothing without bending. Button aids, as I mentioned earlier, make managing buttons possible even with limited dexterity. For those who have trouble with socks, sock aids are simple devices that hold the sock open while you slide your foot in. They look a bit like plastic gutters with ropes attached, but they're incredibly effective. Reaching aids extend your reach for pulling up pants or positioning clothing that's out of range due to mobility limitations. What I love about these tools is that they're relatively inexpensive solutions that can make expensive wardrobes accessible again. You don't necessarily need to replace all your clothes. Sometimes the right tool makes your existing wardrobe work for your current needs. I remembers working with Thomas, a young man with cerebral palsy who wanted to dress independently for his first job. We found him a dressing stick with a small hook that helped him pull up his pants without assistance. The first day he dressed completely by himself for work, his mother sent me a photo of him beaming with pride. That's not about fashion, that's about dignity and independence. One concern I often hear is the cost of adaptive clothing. It's true that some specialized adaptive garments carry higher price tags due to their innovative features and smaller production runs. However, building an adaptive wardrobe doesn't have to drain your savings. Start by evaluating your existing clothes. Which items give you the most trouble? Those are the ones to replace first with adaptive alternatives. Consider modifying favorite pieces you already own. Adding magnetic snaps to replace buttons, converting back zippers to Velcro closures, or adding zipper pulls are all relatively inexpensive alterations that can extend the life of beloved garments. Look for mainstream brands that incorporate adaptive features without being exclusively adaptive clothing. Elastic waistbands, stretch fabrics, and pull-on styles are increasingly common in regular fashion lines. Watch for sales from specialized adaptive brands. Sign up for their newsletters to be notified of discounts. And don't overlook second-hand options. Many adaptive garments are lightly used because they weren't quite right for the original purchaser. I worked with David, who was on a fixed income after his Parkinson's diagnosis forced early retirement. We created a capsule wardrobe of 5 modified shirts, 3 pairs of elastic waist pants that looked like regular trousers, and shoes with elastic laces. The entire wardrobe cost less than $300, but transformed his daily experience. I want to take a moment to acknowledge something important. The struggle to dress independently isn't just a practical problem, it's an emotional one. When clothing becomes an obstacle, it can trigger feelings of frustration, loss of identity, and diminished self-worth. Many people I've worked with describe feeling betrayed by their bodies, or mourning the loss of their personal style. I remember sitting with Joan, a former boutique owner in her 70s who had developed severe arthritis. As she described giving away her beautiful collection of button-down blouses, she said, "I feel like I'm losing pieces of myself, one button at a time. her. Words haunted me because they captured how intertwined our clothing choices are with our sense of self. But I've also witnessed the profound emotional uplift that comes when people discover they can maintain their style while adapting to their body's needs. There's a special kind of joy that comes from reclaiming independence in this daily ritual. When we find solutions that work, whether it's magnetic closures, adaptive designs, or helpful tools, we're not just solving a practical problem. We're preserving dignity, identity, and autonomy. And that is deeply meaningful. The good news is that adaptive fashion is gaining momentum. Major retailers like Target, Tommy Hilfiger, and Nike have launched adaptive lines. Fashion schools are beginning to include adaptive design in their curricula. And innovative startups are emerging with fresh approaches to inclusive clothing. As awareness grows, we can expect more options, better design, and greater availability at various price points. The future of fashion is inclusive, designing for all bodies and abilities from the start, rather than as an afterthought. But we don't need to wait for the fashion industry to catch up completely. The solutions I've shared today are available now and can make an immediate difference in your daily life or the life of someone you care about. I believe that getting dressed should be the beginning of your day, not the hardest part of it. And with the right approaches, it can be just that, a simple start to your day, not an obstacle to overcome. As we wrap up today, I want you to remember one thing. Struggling with buttons, zippers, or other closures isn't a personal failure, it's a design problem. And design problems have solutions. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, recovering from surgery, managing a neurological condition, or simply experiencing the natural changes that come with aging, you deserve clothing that works with your body, not against it. The strategies we've covered today, from magnetic closures to adaptive designs to helpful dressing tools, can transform your daily experience. They can return precious time and energy to your day. Most importantly, they can preserve your independence and personal style. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to our channel for more adaptive fashion tips and solutions. Drop a comment below sharing your own experiences or questions. I read every single one and use them to plan future videos. And if you know someone who might benefit from these ideas, sharing this video could be the most thoughtful thing you do today. Sometimes people struggle silently with dressing difficulties, not realizing there are solutions available. Remember, fashion should be accessible to everyone. Because when we dress with ease, we face the day with confidence. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.